Ladies and gentlemen, there is a story that just came out that in Russia they had 3 hours of darkness and it has made the news. And I'm going to read Revelation 8, verse 12. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. So, in other words, in the middle of the day, when the sun is usually out, it went dark. And this happened around noon in Siberia, Russia. And it made the Daily Mail. And this is dated the 25th of July, 2018. And I will leave the link to this article in the description box. Mystery as sky turns black in the middle of the day in remote Russian towns. Okay, so Russian officials appear baffled over a massive cloud that turned day into night, scaring. So the residents that lived there were scared. They said even going outside, it was eerie being outside. And not only that, the temperature had dramatically dropped. There were claims of a sudden redness could have been caused by dust from a meteorite strike or a secret Kremlin weapon test. But they're claiming nothing was reported. The only thing that they said is going on is a nearby wildfire, but that never darkened the sky for 3 hours. Other explanation for mystified locals are a UFO or unreported eclipse, and they said there was no eclipse yesterday at all anywhere on the earth. The work of the devil or smoke from raging wildfires. All right, so it just got darker and darker. And they said this part of Siberia, actually, they keep daylight 24 hours a day. It's daylight. They don't have a night. So here it is when it got really dark. And they said when they went outside, it was dark. You couldn't drive without having your headlights on. It was really dusty, and they didn't know what was going on. The people actually went into a panic. Moscow defense and meteorologist officials has failed to comment on the cloud of darkness that hit 3 vast, mainly Arctic districts. Yucatan region in the middle of the day. There were no reports of meteorites, eclipses, or weapon tests, let alone sightings of alien spacecrafts. A local resident from the Ivano Batansky said messages are going around about a light flash registered by the US satellites, followed by increased radioactive levels and unusual activity of the military. We are never going to be told is this was true or false. Some claim it could be some new type of weapon being tested by the Russian military. Another source, this could only be explained by a UFO. Residents reported darkness beginning around 11:30 a.m. and lasted almost 3 hours on Friday. So this was this past Friday. And they said none of these districts have been hit by wildfires that are raging in other Siberian localities. So this is what it looked like, y'all. And they said it is daylight 24 hours a day. It doesn't get dark. And it got dark for 3 hours. And no one in Russia so far could explain why this has happened. Honey, this just go to show you the Most High can make anything happen. The areas are so far north that at this time of the year, it's virtually 24 hours light. But as one local said, day suddenly turned into a dark night. Another added, I could not see a thing without switching lights on. We took torches to walk outside, but actually no one wanted to be on the streets because the feeling was as if something heavy in the air was pressing on your chest. Accounts spoke of a thick layer of dust after the darkness, but this has been denied by some officials who also expressed doubts that pollution from wildfires was the cause. And, you know, one person said they looked around to see if there was a strong thunderstorm coming. The air went dark. It got darker and darker. But this time, unlike anything else we have seen before, the darkness had a rich yellow tone. It was very unusual. We doubt the solar eclipse version. And this is just one of the wildfires. It wasn't really in the area that was hit, but Siberia does have a wildfire that's going on. And you can see it still looks kind of cloudy and hazy there. So this went on from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right. So that's crazy. I will leave the link to this Daily Mail article in the description box, but I also have a video that somebody did. And I want to thank Dinah Israel for sending this. All right, let me see if I can get this going.
Tuesday, July 24th, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. Guys, in this video, we're going to take a look at a unsolved mystery from Siberia. We're here at the Watchers.news. We're going to look at this article and an article from the area, the Siberian Times, as the mystery deepens, as nobody can seem to figure out exactly what happened, as Arctic Siberia turns completely dark for a period of 3 hours on July 20th, 2018. The area that we're talking about is right here, just a couple of 100 miles south of Yana Bay, right in this area. And this time of year, it's daylight 24/7. To kind of put things in perspective, it's just inside the Arctic Circle at around the 67-degree north latitude. So that's the area we're talking about. And this time of year, it does stay daylight all the time. But as it turns out, this mysterious event occurred during the lunchtime hours, basically 11:30 to 2 p.m. So it would have been daylight regardless. Story goes on to say many reports came in of this phenomenon. People said they couldn't see a thing without switching their lights on. They took torches outside to walk around, but people really didn't feel comfortable outside as it was kind of an eerie feeling, people are saying. At first, one person thought they saw a thunderstorm coming in. The air went dark and got darker and darker. And they said, but this time it was unlike anything that they'd ever seen before. Some residents are saying that they saw some sort of a flash of light first. They're considering this a weird phenomenon. Some people thought that maybe it was caused from raging wildfires in other districts, but officials have expressed doubts over this theory. And again, that was just a theory. Nobody really knows. In fact, I think the wildfires would have had to have been exceptionally close to this area to completely block out the sun. You're talking peak solar noon, and it went completely dark. It wasn't like it was evening or early morning. 11:30 to 2 p.m., 12 would be peak solar. Sun is directly overhead. So whatever it was very thick. As you can tell by the pictures, this is a picture here of someone driving with their headlights on. People who live here for many years said they've never witnessed anything like this. The darkness was pitch black. It didn't come at once, but it grew gradually. The sun was gone, and I'm quoting, the sun was gone from 11:30 to 1400. That's 2 p.m. And again, that's right in the middle of solar noon. So the sun would have been directly overhead. But it was, for whatever reasons, pitch dark. Local officials also said there was a sharp drop in the temperature, which reminded me of if you've ever experienced a total solar eclipse, the temperature drops. And some of these pictures, if you look at them closely, it reminds you of a solar eclipse. Like, for instance, maybe that one, or that one's of an area where there are wildfires burning, and that's what the sky looks like. This isn't the area that the day turned to night. But if you look at some of these pictures, you do kind of get the feeling that, okay, it was some sort of an eclipse, but it was not an eclipse, or at least not one that anybody knew of. That one looks like it could be an eclipse. A total solar eclipse does affect the temperature, but that's not what happened here. In fact, nobody really knows what happened here. Some other people are saying there's just all kinds of mixed reports. Some people thought they saw smoke. Some people thought maybe they saw dust. Some people thought maybe they saw a thunderstorm, but it never did rain. They saw clouds. They just simply don't know. But the bottom line is the people that live here that are used to 24/7 daylight during this time of year, they don't know what they could have possibly seen. They can't explain it. And right now, there is no official explanation for what went on over here. People are very mystified. I mean, they're looking at it from all possible angles, but they cannot come up with a conclusive definition of what really went on over here. There's a picture there, and you can see it is completely dark. So again, this is from right here, northern Siberia, a couple hundred miles south of the East Siberian Sea, Yana Bay, right in here. And it was an area the size of Italy that went black. Multiple districts reporting the same phenomenon, temperature changing, went black outside like it was nighttime, and there is no nighttime right now. It's daylight 24/7. And not only that, it was at solar noon. So the sun should have been directly overhead, but they couldn't see it. Temperature dropped, very strange phenomenon. It almost looks like a solar eclipse. And speaking of eclipses, there will be a lunar eclipse at the end of this week. Don't miss this week's deep red blood moon, the longest lunar eclipse of this century. Story dated July 23rd, 2018, yesterday. The eclipse is this Friday, the 27th. And I'm going to show you a map of visibility and the greatest visibility and who will not be able to see this lunar eclipse.
Okay, y'all, because I actually did a video on the lunar eclipse, just telling you what part of the world. That's all he really goes over. But Tell me what you think. This is just days before the longest eclipse is supposed to occur in the 21st century. But please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video.